I'm Martavis Bryant. I'm chopping it up with Buck.
All right, we got chopping it up with Buck. This week I have Martavis Bryant. Martavis played at Clemson. I remember covering you, man, when you were there. You had guys that like Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins. Y'all had some guys going. Now I also think Taj Boyd, wasn't he the quarterback for you for a little bit?
Yeah, he was. He was
there. Yeah. Welcome, man. It's good to have you on this week.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Martavis, talk to me a little bit. I mean, you went to Hannah High School, which is in Anderson. Everybody knows that's the home of radio. You've had a great program there, a lot of good players. Tell us about your experience growing up in South Carolina and playing at Hannah High School.
It was. I started playing ball when I was 6 years old. You know, and the reason that I had to actually go to T.L. is because my high school closed down when I was a sophomore in high school, so I had to transfer to T.L.
Okay. Yeah. Which high school was that?
Cameron Falls.
Okay.
Cameron Falls High School. It had closed down my sophomore year, so my coach, who was Kenyon Fouch, actually got me to go to T.L. and start playing there. And I played my last 2 years there before I went to college.
So you went to Hargrave Military Academy, and then you transitioned over to Clemson. Tell us a little bit about Hargrave and how that recruiting process went once you got there.
It was a struggle at first, you know. That was my first time being away from my mom, you know, being in a single parent home, being raised by her, you know. I used to be around her every day, and that was the first actual time I really got to be away from her. And it was a tough adjustment at first, you know. You're not allowed to have cell phones, and it's just strict rules that you got.
Right? Like military. Yeah. Correct. Well, I've heard they do a really good job, them and Fork Union, but it is strict, and you have to follow that. So when you were going to Clemson or getting recruited, were there other schools that were recruiting you besides Clemson?
I committed to Clemson when I was a freshman in high school, and I think a lot after I committed as so early as a freshman, that's when I really started getting a lot of offers, and I also picked up more offers from being at Harvard.
Okay, good. So tell me about your time at Clemson. I mean, you know, you had 3 years there. I can remember when you were coming in, as I was calling games, everybody was talking about this kid, Martavis Bryant, you know, big physical guy, can go up and get the ball. What was it like for you walking onto that campus and seeing some other guys that were future NFLers like you wanted to be?
It was an eye-opener knowing that I wasn't the only guy that was good at what he does, you know.
You had some alpha males, right?
Yeah. So you had to work like those guys does, but it was great competition, and everybody supported each other, and I had a great time playing with those guys.
Who took you under their wing to kind of show you the ropes? Because each program, I went to UCLA and I had the same thing happen to me. Who was the guy or guys that kind of took you under their wing and said, "Hey, we're gonna show you how to do this"?
It was Andre Branch and Jerron Brown.
Okay.
Those two guys did a good job of bringing me along, you know, because you know that first day of college it's something serious, you know. It's a lot going on. You got to learn how to manage school and football.
Tell me about that. What was that first experience like walking out on the Clemson field, practice field? You've been the guy. I mean, you committed as a freshman. You got all these offers. I always ask people that first day or that first week, what was it like?
I had a lot of jitters, to be honest with you. You know, you're confident in yourself, but you step it on to college, you know, it's a whole different thing from high school. So I was nervous, but, you know, after the first couple of weeks we got going, you know, everything seemed to pick up along.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. You just said it is nervous. When I was never nervous when I played, I would worry. And that didn't happen a lot, but I'd get worried because I'm thinking I got to have something, right, to get that juice going.
Correct. You got to be a little worried, a little nervous.
So freshman, sophomore year, you had some pretty good success, but your junior year was your breakout year. What was the difference between your sophomore season and your junior season? What made you just kind of catapult yourself and really become that next level guy?
It was really the opportunities that we was getting, you know, playing with Sammy and playing with DeAndre. I mean, so many opportunities you're going to get. You know, Sammy was a freshman All-American, so, you know, just taking advantage of the opportunities, to be honest with you. And I think I was struggling at first in school, like my first year. So, you know, Coach Sweeney used to bounce on saying if you do good in the classroom, you'll transfer over to the field. At first, I didn't really buy into what he was saying, but when I started doing it, then everything started going good for me, you know.
Who was the position coach when you first got there or during your time there? Who coached you?
Jeff Scott.
Okay, yep. So Jeff Scott ended up going off becoming a head coach.
Yep,
Tony Elliott was on that staff as well, right? Yeah.
correct.
You guys
Yeah,
had, and that's been the thing with Clemson. I tell people after watching them for so many years here in the Carolinas, you've had consistency in coaches, and the players you guys bring in all kind of buy into the program that they have there. Tell us a little bit about Jeff and what he was able to do for you as a receiver.
um, he taught me how to read defenses. He taught us how to work in practice.
Yeah.
With Coach Sweeney being a receivers coach, and he been our head coach, so he used to be big on us. And
Yeah.
coach, he was a great coach, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that strikes me too is when you talk about that, Sammy Watkins, I can remember as a freshman watching him, his ability to run routes. And when he got to
Right,
the top of the stem, break down, I mean, he would fool so many guys, even at the next level. What were some of
right.
the things you learned from him, Jaron Brown, and DeAndre while you were there, just to help you at that next level?
Well, Sammy was one of those guys. Our freshman year, he came in already knowing that playbook already. That's what he did. He spent a lot of time into studying. And we always roommates, so we never knew what he would be doing in the room. But he was sitting there studying the whole time, and it showed on the field. As he started playing, things just started happening fast for him. And Jerron
Yeah.
was just the savvy veteran, just to be around. He knows the whole game. Coaches trust him, and DeAndre was just unbelievable. I played against him in high school.
Oh, DeAndre's so special. I mean, everybody knows he can catch the rock.
Mm-hmm.
He runs routes. He's a dog. He'll fight you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I liked about all of y'all coming through. I could just tell, hey, you're gonna compete. If you're gonna be at Clemson as a receiver
Correct.
during that time, you had to compete, right? What was
Correct.
it about DeAndre that made him what you saw every single day in practice?
Ball skills, and he wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but he knew how to create space to get open. And
Yeah,
anytime the ball was in his vicinity, he catching the ball.
yeah, yeah. Well, good, man. So that takes us to the Steelers. You get drafted in the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
You're going in your rookie year. You had a nice year, 3
Mm-hmm.
starts, played in a few games. Tell us what the experience is from college to then the pros.
I feel like it was. I feel like it wasn't an interrogation. It was just more of an interview, just like for any other job that you do. But I had to meet with all 32 teams, so I had a lot of interviews.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so when you met with all 32,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't back then, because I know for us, there was no time limit. They didn't give you, it wasn't no 10-minute thing. You could be
Yeah.
there 20 minutes, you could be there an hour, right?
Correct.
Who kept you the longest?
I would say Detroit.
Wow. Anything that out of the ordinary that they ask you? I mean, I know some people have had some of the craziest things. What was the craziest combine question for you?
They just asked me about certain stuff that happened in college that I didn't know they know anything about. I'm like, wow, how you know that? That's crazy. It wasn't nothing bad though, but yeah, they be figuring out everything. They come with questions that you never thought they knew nothing about.
I told people I didn't know I was hurt until I went through the medical and they found things on my body. I was like, I forgot I hurt that. And they
Yeah,
poked it. You're like, oh,
yeah.
boy, when you got to the Steelers.
Well, honestly, my welcome to the NFL story, to the NFL, not story, but to the
Yeah.
NFL was kind of smooth. It wasn't a hard transition for me because I
Yeah.
had already been in Clemson. They was teaching us the business, and when I got to the NFL, I really learned how to treat it as a business early
Yeah.
on. And not wait too late to do it. And my first 6 weeks, I didn't even play as a rookie. I was on practice squad. I hurt
Yeah.
my shoulder, and I had Todd Haley, who was a tough offensive coordinator. So I had to really
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Todd is
had to.
getting your stuff, won't he?
Right, yes. So he really taught me how to develop some tough skin when it comes to like buying into football coaching and everything.
Yeah. You know what I like about Todd, though? I've been around him a long time, and I know, I've known him at a distance. It was never malicious. You know how some
No,
coaches,
right.
when
Yeah,
they're dog cussing you, and you're like, that
yeah,
ain't coming from a good place. I always thought that he, just because he cared and he could see it in you trying to get it
right.
out of. Did you feel
It,
that too?
it was the same thing. He was just trying to
Yeah.
bring it out of you, but he got different ways of doing it. But once you buy into what he's saying, he becomes your best friend. He's a cool guy, man. To this day, I got mad love for him.
So it's interesting. That's where you said it was an easy transition, but you were suspended in 15 for 4 games. What was
Mhm.
it that put you through that? What made you go down that path? Because you're on the right path, things are
Right.
going well. What happened?
Well, honestly, I got got popped. When I was
Hmm.
a rookie, I passed the combine test. I didn't know
Yeah.
when you get drafted, it's another test right there, So that set me back ahead right there. And me not really fully understanding the drug program, I take it serious at such a young age. It really like detrimental to what I had going on in my career.
And it's interesting now, Martavis, because you bounced and you played at different places. You're trying to get back in the league, and I understand that. But the
Mm-hmm.
policy has changed. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you were reinstated. You had a chance to come back and play. What is it now when you got reinstated? Because it's totally different now. I mean, they don't test for certain things,
Right.
in particular marijuana, because cannabis is a part of health. I mean, they're trying to use it in different ways for guys that have pain and other things. Has the league reached out to you about that? Because they know, it seems like they do that with guys that are trying to come back. Or have you had any specific conversations with them about that?
I mean, only conversation I used to have was with a couple of the executives that worked through the drug program. I had a couple of steps that even though the rules have changed, I still had to follow to get back in, and I still have to follow to stay in. You know what I'm saying? It's just because they changed. They can't suspend you no more for it to get rid of you, but it's still like fines and certain things that they does. So I still have a protocol that I have to go by.
What would you do if you get the chance to get back? What is it that you want to? I mean, because this is your story, and I know
Mhm.
a hell of a player. You made plays, but now it's on the other side. It's always harder. What do you want to tell people about Martavis Bryant that's different than it was when all that was going on?
I had to go through some dark times. The four or
Yeah.
5 years out of the league wasn't all smooth and glamorous like people think it was. Oh, he took 4 years off, he came back. No, those some tough times that I had to get through. And all I want is the opportunity to prove myself again. I did it at such a young age now. Yes, I'm 32, but I don't have a lot of wear and tear on my body. And I still know how to play the game of football at the highest level. And all I need is the opportunity. I'm gonna take advantage of everything and do what I'm supposed to do.
What did you do to get yourself mentally into it? Because I made that transition, and I tell people it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of when I decided to walk away, I,
Mm-hmm.
you still think, man, did I make the right decision? You have all those things. For you, what was it that darkness to get you to the light?
Man, like not having a secure home. Yes, I got my mom home to go to, but I haven't been staying at home since I was 18 years old. So for me, it was like going from couch to couch, not having a sustainable place to stay at every day, not knowing how I'm gonna feed myself, even though I made money, you know what I'm saying? The money comes, the money goes, especially you don't do the right things with it at a young age. So it was a really eye opener for me to like, this is not how I'm supposed to be living. This is not how I'm supposed to be doing. So it really was an overnight type thing for me, One night I just woke up and was like, you know what, I'm chase back after it again.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned your mom a couple of times.
Mhm.
What role and part of this? A mother's love is you can't compare it. I'm an only child, so I can
Right.
understand that. But
Mhm.
what is it that your mom has meant to you throughout this battle to get back into the league?
Just her support is everything, to be honest with you. Being raised by a single parent and seeing her go to work every day, even when her bones and body hurts, it really excuse for me. You know what I'm saying? And now at this age, she got a little bit of health problems, so she really needs me. And plus I have 3 kids, so I got all four of them depending on me. And I like the pressure, so it really just a big motivational factor for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And from a support standpoint, do you need tough love, supportive love? I mean, like, who has been a sounding board for you that has one of your boys that's still playing, somebody that's been close to your coach? Who's been there to kind of keep you going? Because it ain't easy as
Well,
one, you know what I mean?
who actually got me to come back into football was DeAndre Hopkins. He called me up one night, he texted me, he was like, I might have this opportunity for you, that's when the head coach of the Titans last year was there, he was like, come out to Arizona, come train with me, a couple of
Mhm.
weeks or whatever, get yourself together and I might have an opportunity for you, So I ended up doing that and I stuck with it and next thing you know, I was signed to the Cowboys.
Yeah. Now, what are the prospects right now? I know camp is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both know one or two guys goes down, people are looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
So who are some prospects, and what are you doing to stay ready for that opportunity?
Man, honestly, I don't really care where I go. I would love to play in Carolina, be close to home, play for the home team, have my family come up and watch me. But Opportunity is opportunity, man. Especially with the NFL, any opportunity you can take, you just gotta take advantage of it. And it's just been running, working out every day, staying focused. I talk to TD sometimes, who's really close to me, a bit helping me out. Sometimes I get frustrated with the process, but I know it's a waiting game. So I just
Yeah.
gotta just keep myself mentally focused and focused on what I needed to get done and make sure I'm ready to go when I get the opportunity so I can seize the moment.
How are you paying those favors forward? Like I know wherever you're working out, you may have some young kids that you're trying to tell,
Mm-hmm.
hey, listen to me, because
Mm-hmm.
I've been there and I want you not to have to walk through the shoes that I've had to.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any, you don't have to name names, but are there some young kids you've been trying to
Yeah,
mentor and coach and develop? Yeah.
yeah, some young kids, when I was in Vegas a week ago, I had to go out and talk to some kids, who just now starting to get into football at such a young age. And I'm telling them to start now, because you're gonna pay for it later. So put in now so you can reap all your rewards later. And just to take everything serious, your training serious, kids at that young age, they don't quite get like the techniques and everything,
Yeah.
but that's big, because the techniques that they use at that age, we still use them today, and it still works. People don't seem to realize like
That's
everything
true.
that works back, it still works to this day. So the game haven't changed at all.
Isn't that funny when I love the aha moments or the light bulb moments for the kids when you're telling them something and when they finally figure it out, it's like, this is what he was saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about it also too, what role you mentioned Clemson and
Mm-hmm.
being a part of that program, what role has Dabo and his staff or any of those guys, have they played any role in trying to help you get back to where you're going?
Um, Coach Sweeney just been very supportive of me. I'll be honest with you. To this day, he's still sending us letters every day and every year in the mail about our degree and everything. And I told him that I was going back into football. He said, "Man, that's awesome. Anything you need, I'm here for you." So, Coach has
Yeah.
always been in our corner. He always been very supportive of what we do.
Yeah. Who else has played a role besides your mom? Has there been any coach, anybody in your family that has also been in your corner? Because I remember I
Um,
was out of football for a year, and man,
right,
it's tough while
right.
you're trying to get back in there.
But really, just been those people I named. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
and myself. Myself is the big part. Me talking to myself and a lot of deep conversations with myself. To get it together. So that's what it's been, man. And it's been a rocky road, but it's a journey, and I'm happy to be on a journey compared to how I was 4 or 5 years ago when I took this time off. Watching
yeah,
guys.
yeah. You bring up a good point. Enjoying the journey. I think a lot of people think they want to get to a certain place, but there's no such thing as a platform. The journey is where you have to go.
Right,
Tell me about that now, how you were able to embrace it versus when this first started. This is some tough shit, basically, right?
right. Just analyzing everything in my head. Some things you can't control, and realizing that everything ain't in my control, but what things that I can control to make sure I do the best possible thing that I can to put myself in the best situation, regarding no matter what the circumstance is. So that's been the biggest thing for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Have you written yourself, all right, if you could tell yourself advice from 5 years ago, what would you tell yourself 5 years ago that you know now?
So reach out and not try to do it by your own. Do it by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Isn't that the hardest thing though? That's
It
that's the
is.
hardest thing in all this. Because for so long you've been a guy that could just go out there and do it.
Right.
Athletically, I can do it. I know I can do this. But to
Right.
make that admission is a really big step for you. And I think that's really key. Who are some of the guys that you look at now in the league when you watch? I mean, 6'4", 210, 215,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you are now, but there's some big receivers. Who are the guys that you say, hey, he's doing it the right way, or I kind of can see that in myself. I know I was there at one point.
Right. DK Metcalf. He's doing what
Yeah.
he's supposed to do, man. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. A lot of
Yeah.
similarities.
Big physical guy,
Yeah.
able to go up and high point and can run. Because you were fast when you were
Right.
playing. Yeah, yeah. 4.5, 4.4. I mean, I can't
Like
remember.
four. It was 4.3, 4.4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, see,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I knew you had explosive speed, but I
Mm-hmm.
also say this too: when you're a bigger guy,
Mm-hmm.
that's more impressive because you know how hard it is to get that moving, right?
Right. Like
Yeah.
last year for the Cowboys, I was 230.
Wow.
So I slimmed back up to like I was my first 4 or 5 years playing in the league now. Back to 215, 214. Yeah, I ain't want to be that big, man. I just felt like I was a little bit sluggish, so I finally cut back down on my weight again. So I'm very
What
happy about
what
that.
what did you do to lose that weight? Eating better, or just what was it that you changed?
Eating better, fasting. Someday, like a week, I did a week of fasting, and just eating better and just not eating after a certain time like I used to do. Just I started to get on it really bad.
Staying away from McDonald's and all the other stuff, but like all the time, maybe every
Right,
now and then, right? The cheat day.
right, right.
Yeah. And I don't, it's funny how people say that they think it's easier to drop 15 pounds. It's
Hmm.
not. But
It's
when
not.
you do it,
It feels good, especially the older you get, the harder it is to do so.
well, you speaking to the choir. One thing I did want to ask you, when you were out of the league, you went down to Houston. You spent some time with John Lucas. I'm from Houston originally,
Okay,
and
yeah.
Lucas has done a really good job with guys. What was his impact on you, and have you kept in touch with Luke at all?
I haven't talked to him in a minute, but when I was there, we had some deep conversations. I used to be with him every day. Every place I had to get to, he was taking me. He really taught me a different way of. That's when I really started to learn how to think differently about certain situations I was going through. Instead of blaming myself, I would always blame other people, and that's when I started taking accountability for myself being around him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was a great influence and a great name in the Houston area for
Mm.
that, and also his ability to come back from the things that he did as
Right.
well.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We'll be right back on Chopping It Up with Buck.
Join us each week and a new celebrity guest on Chopping It Up with Buck. Brought to you by Thin Energy, thinenergy.com.
Martavis, where are you working out right now to stay in shape and get ready for your next opportunity?
I'm down in Miami right now. Getting used to being in humidity, getting used to being out of humidity again.
Yeah.
Get some nice sweat in, so it's good. It's been hot down here. It's been some good training.
I got recruited by the Canes, and I know a lot of them cats. And I'm from
Yeah,
Houston, but Miami is a different kind of humidity,
yeah,
ain't it?
yeah. It is. It is
You working out with a good group of guys? You got a
a
good
good group of
quarterback
guys.
going to you?
Like a couple people I used to train with when I was coming out for the combine. I started training out here when I came out of college to go pro. So a lot of familiar faces, gimming around some of the people, even some of the people who ain't in the league. Just hanging around some of the guys. Just been around football guys again.
Yeah, good stuff. And you said you don't care what team